Hello, this is the Tepid Coder. Today I want to continue where I left off with the video about code libraries in C and C++. In the previous video I talked about name mingling a little bit, where you have things like C12 add versus just like add inside the DLL file when you're loading it, and how you need to do extern C and define your function that you want to export in your library file within that block if you want it to be a C function inside the DLL or SO file, and how you need to also wrap your declaration in your loader application that's going to depend on the DLL or SO file in extern C, so it knows to load it as a C function without the mingling. One thing I forgot to mention, and this is kind of important, I'm going to say now add SCP. Let's remake it real quick. Add int type of A here, we have B here. Return A plus B. Okay, extern C. Whatever. And remember I mentioned the calling convention too. You might have something like CDCL. Now, what I didn't show is something that's required on MSVC. You need to do DCL spec, and in this case, I'm actually going to want this function to appear in the DLL file that I create, or .lib file that I create. By default, on Microsoft Visual Studio, it doesn't actually put any of your functions into the DLL. It assumes this is just for internal use, and you can't actually reference it, unless you specifically say you want to export it. So you do a declspec DLL export. That'll let it be exported from the DLL. And when you load it, you're supposed to define the function like this, declspec DLL import. So it's coming from a DLL. This is the signature called add int. So I should have done that. That would have been more compatible with Microsoft Visual Studio. And something people will typically do is they'll have something like, what do I say? If def, something like building add library, right? If I'm building a library, then I'm going to define something like import or export, and then what it's going to be is going to depend. So if I'm defining building the add library, if we're actually building a library right now, then we want to export the function. So declspec DLL export, right? Else we're going to say, if here, define import or export declspec DLL import. So if this isn't defined, we're not making the library, then it's going to be imported. So let's use that instead. Put that in front. I'll put that in front over here too. Okay. And we'll cut that out. And what else? I'm going to do myself a little note here. Build with, we're going to say G++ -D for define. So I'm going to define this. It's going to be import or export equals 1. So it's defined. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Building add library. This is the add library here that we're building. Equals 1. So this is defined. So it's going to be declspec export because we're building this. Okay, and then what we're going to compile is add.cp -o. The output's going to be add.dll. Okay, and I also need to do -shared, right? So I'm building a DLL file or SO file if it's on Linux with this, sorry, if I'm compiling this on Linux or Unix environment, even WSL, whatever, with GCC, this is going to give me an SO file, but I'm on GW with Windows, so it's giving me a DLL file. Whatever. That's what I'm going to have to run. I'm going to copy both of these real quick. Okay, oops. I'll make a load.tp. I'm going to paste those both in for now. I'm only going to copy this now, get rid of it. Okay, so we're going to build that. Okay, so I have the DLL file now. I do. So, loader.cpp. Alright, now I think I want to do here, so I probably want to add a header for the library. So add.cpp. I'm going to take this block of stuff right here out. I'm going to say include add.h. It's my header for the library. Now add.h. So Pragna wants, if not defined, add header, then define add header. diff. Okay. And I'm also going to have that, yeah, function signature. Okay. So it's going to define it. And it's either going to export or import for this. Doesn't really matter inside the library itself, but this will matter for anyone else viewing this. So what consumers do I have? Loader is going to need that, which means it already has that signature. So int name void from 0. Okay, and we're going to have, what do I say? I realize I'm basically just recreating the previous example, but I'll get through this quickly. So 1 plus 2 equals whatever. 4. Request, 4t. We're going to do add, and this is going to be, I don't know, 22. Okay. Now let's build that again. We'll say gs plus dash l dot dash l add loader.cp dash l, oh rather, loader. Okay, it doesn't like that because I didn't include types.h. Oops. Include types.h. It also needs to know what n64t is, which comes from setInt.h. It also needs to know how to use fprintf, which comes from svkout.h. Okay. Try that again. Okay, so I can't find imp add III. Cool. Now that is because I'm going to add.cp. I did extern c here, but in my add.h, I did not extern c that. Okay. Now that should work. Okay. Loader. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so it's working. Whew. Alright. Now, here's something else you can do. We can make a static link library. So, this means I don't have to have the SO or DLL file at runtime. It's just going to be part of my exe. So the way I do that is I'm going to say, think here for a second, well, I want to do g++-c to compile, and I'm compiling add.cp. Okay, and the output is going to be, let's call it add.o, or say obj for object. That's what it is. I'm compiling it to an object file. Okay. It doesn't like that. Definition is marked dllimport. Right, okay, because this is actually the library project, so I'm defining, what was it? Building add library, is that right? Okay, that was right, that's what I called it define. Cool, so now I should have an object file, if I look in here. Add object right here. Neat. So now what I can do is I can use a command, it's arrcs, and the destination I want is the name of the library, which is going to be called add.lib, or say, I'll say the add.a. I'm on Windows, so .lib. I'll just do that. Will I? I should call it .a, because that means we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens. It might be annoyed with that, but it might work as well. Really, it should be an A file if it's being compiled with GCC, but it's on Windows, so I'm not sure which one it's going to make. So we'll see what happens. And we're making it out of the object file. So we built the object file out of the add CVV file. Okay, and then now out of this object file, we're making a .a file, which is a static library, which would be the equivalent of .lib on Windows. And fingers crossed, did it work? Let's see what we have here. Looks like it worked. Add.a. All right, final time. G++. We have add. We need to make a new file actually to load it differently. So now loader2.cp. In this case, okay. Standard input output h. Standard lib.h. Standard. Actually, we didn't need that one. We need standard int.h. We need types.h. And we need my new add header for the library. I'm going to say main void entry point. I want to say is I have a definition for it. It's saying dllimport, but it shouldn't really matter. I could probably ignore that. If it doesn't ignore it, I'll just add this here just in case. Signature. I shouldn't need that though. If I need to, I'll remove this, right? I'll try and call the function from it. Send it out. Come on. I did enter. This time I'll do 4 plus 5 equals something. I for static cast int 4t, we're going to say 12.5. Now we're trying to link this. Moment of truth. We have G++. We're going to say loader2 SCP. I'm linking it against something in this directory, and its name is add.a. And the output is going to be loader2.exe, but yeah, it should make it. Okay. Add.a. No such file or directory. If I get rid of that. Nope. Cannot find loader2. Oops. I mean, loader2. There we go. Loader. Okay, now just so I can show that this isn't... Let me think here for a second. Just so we know for sure this isn't loading the SO file or DLL file, whatever in here. I want to actually give that a different name. So when I build this real quick, I'm going to rm... Actually, I'll do that in here. Rm, it's going to be add dot... what do I call that? Dot A dash B, so we removed it. Now I'm going to recompile that with AR RCS. Let's call it static add dot A, and it comes from add dot object. Okay. Now we'll do G++ dash L is this directory. Dash lowercase l is going to be the new library, which is static add. Okay, output's going to be that's going to be loader2, and then the source file I'm linking in is going to be loader2 SCP. Lib static add. Note to link static add.a use colon. Oh, I can actually use colon. That's nice. I didn't know you could do that. So I can give it the full name, and it won't screw with me and add the lib in front of it or whatever. See, it wants to be called lib static add. Anyway, that should work. So loader2. So that is working. And the exe size should be a bit bigger. So let's look at that real quick. So loader2 exe is 133168 versus loader exe's 133458. So it's actually a bit smaller, which is interesting. I guess the code that it needs to dynamically load functions from a DLL or SO file is probably larger than the size of the code that I imported, which is just one function from that file. But I suppose as I get a lot more content into my add library, like I have add, subtract, whatever, it's a math library, square root, you know, all that kind of stuff, this will eventually become bigger because it's putting all that code from library directly into the executable file instead of separating it into the DLL file or SO file. Anyway, yeah, library file and object file is pretty much the same thing. They're pretty damn close. Okay, the only thing I haven't gone over yet is an import library. And the syntax for this is a bit confusing, I would say. So I'm going to save this till the next video. And when I come back, I will show you how to do an import library. And I might even boot up Visual Studio and show some of these projects working with Visual Studio, kind of the same code I've already done, just so you can see that you do need the technical spec, DLL import or DLL export. So I don't know. I might do that, or I could even just like go to the developer tools and do cl.exe and do the same thing with that. I kind of prefer to do things on the command line because showing people how to set up an IDE doesn't really prepare them for different build environments. If you use C-Lang, it might be different. If you use MSVC with cl.exe, it might be different. If you're using GCC, it's different than even G++. Whatever. If you're using Borland even, they're all going to have their own idiosyncrasies. So I'm going to leave this one at that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. So if you like the video, like and subscribe. Other than that, I guess catch you guys later.